What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel and to another Lost Ark video. My name is The Full Measure, but when I play Lost Ark, I am a filthy casual. And I've created a series of videos helping or trying to help out beginners, players that have just reached level 50 and want to start dipping their toes into Chaos Dungeon content to be able to get those upgrade mats and get their gear score increased as soon as possible. I've been creating these builds for each one of the characters in my roster, and my criteria for creating these are twofold. Firstly, I want them to, as mentioned, be beginner friendly. So the expectation is not that you go farm any islands for skill potions or anything like that. The 250, 255, 260 skill points that you have available to you at the time of reaching level 50 will be enough to activate all of the skills in this build. And then secondly, these builds are very heavily flavored against, or not against, but rather towards AoE damage, because that's by far the most efficient way of doing Chaos Dungeons. You want to be doing as much AoE damage as fast as possible because of the packs that you face within Chaos Dungeons and the small bosses that you have as well, so that you can knock these out as soon as possible and you can get those mats. Now, the class that we're going to look at today is the Shadowhunter, and the build that you're seeing on the screen right now accomplishes exactly what I said, and that is to give you the maximum AoE potential while also allowing you to move around the battlefield and deal with any bosses and survivability issues that you might have. Now, specifically, when it comes to the Shadowhunter, I would definitely say that the Shadowhunter is like the king, or dare I say queen, of conal AoE. And of course, the difference between normal AoE, which hits all around you, and conal AoE is exactly that. When it comes to conal AoE, it's important that your placement makes sense and that you are actually looking in the general area, or direction rather, of the enemies. Now, what you want to be doing with the Shadowhunter is you want to be sort of moving from pack to pack and getting on the outside of the pack, turning around and looking towards the majority of the enemies, and then hitting them with a howl, a decimate, a thrust impact, a demonic clone, anything like that. Now, you have a far-reaching ability in Cruel Cutter that allows you to essentially go a little bit further out of an engagement, drop the Cruel Cutter and have it run through an entire corridor of enemies, and then essentially comes back to you. Now, one other thing that I do want to mention is that the blades from Cruel Cutter, they don't return back to your character, they return back to the point of casting. So that is something to bear in mind. Otherwise, we could do really cool stuff with it, where we could essentially throw it and then sort of jink or circle to the side and have it come run through a whole bunch of new enemies. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It actually returns to the point of casting, so just bear that in mind when you use it. Now, sharp and cut is great for repositioning around the enemies, because essentially what you can do is, if you find yourself outside a group of enemies, you can use sharp and cut to essentially just position yourself into the fray again. Now, something else that's unique to the Shadowhunter is, of course, its class ability, Demonic Mode, which is triggered by Z. And that's just, even more ridiculous with AoE potential. So definitely at a point during the Chaos Dungeon, when you have accumulated the correct amount of resources to activate this, you absolutely want to do this and capitalize on the additional damage and the additional AoE that you get from that, because it will make short work of all of the enemies. Now, taking all of that into account, you also do still have access to your ultimate or your awakening skill. And this is really fantastic at creating like a kill box on the area that you casted. So this is fantastic to use in the second wave or the second area after the first portal in the Chaos Dungeon, to essentially just drop it on a boss's head and just watch them melt with all of the enemies around them. But that's it essentially for the build. I enjoyed the Shadow. I keep wanting to say Shadow Dancer, and I don't know why, but I enjoyed the Shadow. I've literally done like 4 takes. I enjoyed the Shadowhunter quite a lot. It was a class that I never played before, and I rolled due to seeing how popular it was with some of my friends and them sort of raving about how great this class was and how great it felt playing this class. I gotta say, I do still have some others that are my favorites above this, but overall, having gone in with, let's say, low to no expectations, I was really impressed by the mobility of this class and overall the, I would say, power level, the addition, the damage that comes from it. The fact that you can tap into these additional abilities with Z, and the fact that these abilities are so powerful, makes a huge difference. And doing content like cubes, Chaos Dungeons, and things like that with this class is a breeze. But that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Let me know in the comments down below how you would change this build and which things you would change with it, because as I said, I'm a filthy casual and I'm always open to learning more about this game. But other than that, it's just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, a great afternoon, and a super awesome evening wherever you are in the world. Until next video, fucking cheers.
They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me.